Hello Capricorn, it's Steph at Finding You Tarot, and this is a reading just after the Cancer Cancer full moon at the weekend. So I thought I'd hop on and see where you're at. So this is kind of mid-January-ish. I have pre-shuffled, and this is just this has just jumped out. So we are actually going into Aquarius season on Sunday, I think the 19th. And the Fool is a new start, and he is the card of Aquarius. So I wonder if there is, or you're looking for a new start. I mean, this is, tarot readers are going to say that, aren't they? Because it's a new year. We're all kind of, everyone's gone back to work. Everybody hates their job. They want a new start, but that card flew out. Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's just, yeah, and you might be looking as well at with a sense of nostalgia about other things, things that have been past, or been in the past rather. But there is a caution here in this card. I'm being shown very strongly that there's a guard here as well. So you might be protecting some memories that weren't quite as, the time has given you a sense of nostalgia about them that you're not quite, that aren't quite true. But also there may have been a trap here in this, something that kept you stuck. But there seems to be some reminiscence, some pull backwards to times gone past. So you might be looking to go forward, going back, or reminiscing on past relationships and perhaps hoping to resurrect them. I mean, I suppose at the moment, it's sort of the time that we do that stuff. That's that 2. I'll take the 2. But I think you also understand why you walked away from those things as well. So, or if you don't, you're being reminded to think about why you walked away from other things, and that if you genuinely want change, you want to be moving forward, not looking at, not allowing the past and past nostalgia to hold you back. And it could be that it's doing that. I mean, I am being shown here that there has been a dissatisfaction, or there is a dissatisfaction with your situation that is making you want to move away from it. You're perhaps trying to do that quite strategically at the moment, maybe quite quietly, exploring your options quietly, and that's always a good thing to do. But yeah, it feels like there is a recognition here that perhaps what has satisfied you in the past is no longer, those cups are dry now, or what's in them no longer satisfies you, and there is that hole that is pulling you towards your 9th cup, or pulling you towards searching for your 9th cup. There could also be a little bit of a sense of not quite knowing where that 9th cup is, or how you can manifest it. And so you're being asked here, the underlying issue here seems to be that a new clarity is required for you. I would have read this as you are looking at things in a new way, but I kind of feel like this, I don't know, this whole reading so far has a slightly cautionary note to it, about how you're seeing your situation and how you need to reframe it. And so I'm sort of unless I'm guided otherwise, I'm going to look at this in terms of what needs to happen. And so it feels very much that there is a requirement here for clear thinking. As I'm looking at this Seven of Swords, and there are many reasons to dislike this card, but actually it's not wholly negative. But as I'm looking at this, he's holding 5 swords. He's looking back at 2 swords, and those swords have all got sharp edges, and so there's a potential for him to get quite badly cut because he's not being particularly attentive to what he needs to be thinking about, and so there's a focus required here. It's really interesting actually, because my best friend sent me a book about focusing, and I've not been very focused of late recently, and so it's it does feel like actually a little bit as though there's a requirement here to choose what you want and focus very heavily on cutting your way through. I'm being shown someone kind of cutting through a dense forest and cutting a path. So it might feel at the moment as though everything's a bit heavy weatherish, and your way out of this seems to be having a much more clear idea about your path, rather than the Fool, who's got he's got his eyes shut here, and he's just about to kind of just jump off the cliff. And you know what? Sometimes life requires that. Sometimes we're in a situation where we have to say, oh, to hell with it, I'm just going to do it. And but equally it feels like it almost feels as though you're using reminiscence as a reason not to go forward, which is why the Six of Cups is crossing the Fool. But this Ace of Swords is again, I'm asking you to cut your way through this, like with a like the people who are navigating through a forest. They use a machete because it's strong enough, it's sharp enough to cut through everything that needs to be cut through in order to create that pathway. And so you don't just come to a grinding halt. And this is so there's this kind of fog, which is usually created at this time of year for those who celebrate Christmas, celebrate the New Year, the festivities and everything. But then there has to come a point where you say, right, okay, that's enough of that. And so where am I going? So this is asking you not to, because the way these, sorry, I'm just, I'm going backwards and forwards, but there's quite a lot that's coming at me here. But the way these cards are on the table and the way they came out, the Fool is going back towards the past here, but let's see if I can make this like this. But here with this Eight of Cups, he's walking away from that past. But yeah, you're maybe feeling a bit foggy, to summarise after all that. This hasn't been a bad time, though. This has not been a bad thing at all. I think it's probably got you to a place where you're a bit more clear about your own emotional state. What might be lacking, though, because cups are cards of the emotion, they're water, they're free flowing. That what might be lacking here is some sense of grounding, some sense of earth. And being an earth sign, you do need that. And I think for quite a long time, actually, during the back end of 2024, there were just almost no earth signs in Capricorn, and so it's no planets in Earth signs, and so this could have left you feeling just a bit unanchored, unmoored, and slightly kind of being pushed and pulled at the whim of things other than yourself, so that feeling a lack of choice. That what I'm being told here is that this is not a bad thing. This has not been a bad thing, but it can't last forever. At some point you have to look at your new state, look at your new your the epiphanies you might have had about what you need and what you don't need, and actually start to put some flesh on the bones of that, rather than just keeping looking at them. And so there does feel like it's, although there are no, I haven't seen the Four of Cups yet, but it's almost that sort of, that kind of procrastination, and also I'm being shown that Four of Cups in my mind's eye, and I think that's because there's almost, I'm getting a sense here that there's a that unless I can have it in as, and it is perfect in the way that I absolutely envisage, then I'm not going to look at it. And that's not, again, cautionary tale. This is not how the universe works. So the universe will work for your highest good if you allow it to, but sometimes it doesn't happen in the way that you want it to happen. So so there's perhaps an element of flexibility here that is required, and that might be because you have felt a bit unmoored. You're kind of clinging to old perceptions of how things need to happen. But that's probably not your friend at the moment. Let's have a look at what's going. This is a bit of a sort of, I wouldn't say this is tough love from the universe, but this is it's just a gentle sort of, it's a gentle reminder in trust, I think. Because the Ace of Swords is also about truth as well. Yeah, get clear. Get really clear. What you want, what you don't want. This queen is very focused. I mean, she's holding up the Ace of Swords, and she's looking at it, but she's also saying, do not come to me with flaky nonsense and offers that are not valid. This is kind of, don't muck me around. But in order to get to this state, I'm being told to say, don't muck yourself around. This time of procrastination and unmooredness and everything just feeling a bit kind of flaky has not been a bad thing. It has been a gift for you, so that you could get really, really clear about what you want, what you don't want. But now it is time to execute that. Yeah, it's time to execute it. It's the Hierophant card of Taurus. He is about institutions. He is about structure and order, and so grounding. When I was saying, you might have been feeling that there is that there was, you were lacking grounding because of the lack of planetary activity in Earth signs. This is now the time to put that into action. This is where you can now. I don't know what the planets are doing in the next little while. I think something important is happening on the 19th, which can help with new starts. But I don't actually know what it is, but there are loads of brilliant astrologers on here, so you can just go and find out. They'll be doing videos on the 19th of January. But yeah. The keys at the bottom here, the keys by his feet. You have all of the knowledge that you need in order to move forward now. It is just now that you just got to do it. You've just got to do it. But not, again, I go straight back to that Fool, not with your eyes shut. Get your eyes open. Get your eyes open. Cut your path through with a machete. You know, that's don't cut yourself, but it's like that sort of sense of the fog. The fog has now lifted. You know, you can create a path. You need to put it on the ground now, though. It needs to be laid, you know, rather than just something that you know, cards, swords are cards of the mind, and we have three fairly important cards from the suit of swords here. You know, so this is about taking this from your head and getting it into the world. On that one, yeah, the Star. Okay, yeah. And when you can do this, and it's about marrying the. It's like the Queen of Swords marries the Hierophant here. You know, it's she takes that cool logic, and she creates, and between them they create structure and order, and the result is, let's just cover her up actually a little bit because she's got no clothes on, but the result is the Star, which is another card of Aquarius. So we've got two cards of Aquarius here, and a card of Taurus. So we're looking at the first, I would say probably the first part of this year, the first half of this year, is going to be about you creating these new structures for yourself, in alignment with what it is that you actually need and want from your life. And of course, Aquarius starts very soon, so you really could start to see action quickly here through the latter part of January, early part of February, which would be good because I think, you know, a lot of Capricorns have felt very stuck and static recently. Okay, so in terms of hopes and fears, the Page of Cups. It's funny because this feels like it's a hope and a fear, that you kind of you want it, but whatever it is, and it's not showing me what it is, whether this is it's not clear. There are no wands here, but we have swords, and we have cups, quite heavy on the cups, but they're not kind of lovey cups. It doesn't feel like a love reading, so it could just it feels quite general. It feels like your state. So it could be that there are, you know, obviously you will know what you need, you will know what you want, you will know what the areas of dissatisfaction are for you, but it could also be with this Queen of Cups here, that you are just wanting to be in the world in a different way, for the world to see you in a different way. So we have the Queen of Cups, and we have, looking at the past, we have the Queen of Swords looking at the future. So it could just be that you're looking for that mind, that almost that sort of physical, mental shift that gives you an opportunity to be who you actually feel you truly are, rather than, you know, the assigned labels that you've had from your, you know, friends, family, society. I mean, I'm just kind of, it came into my head, you know, that somebody who is you know, you've been a mum, but you want to start a business. But it's like, so how do I get rid of the mum label, or how do I bring, rather than getting rid of the mum label because you don't want to do that, how do I put the businessman, the businesswoman label forward? That there's that sort of there might be that sort of sense going on, that you want the world to see you in a different way. You want people to react to you in a different way. And it's almost like, I think it feels like here with this Page of Cups, that it's almost like you feel that you perhaps lack a little bit of confidence to do that. This guy has a bit of swagger to him, but he's a page. He's got no he's got no authority. He can only say what other people tell him to say. He can only deliver that message. So it almost feels like you kind of want to go for it. You want, there's something in you that wants to go for it, but you almost feel like you want to keep, you almost think, oh, well, who am I to do this? Well, you're the Queen of Swords, and you also have the backing of the Hierophant as well. So it's pretty powerful stuff, Capricorn. So it feels like there's a sort of, almost like you need to come to terms with your with an expansion in the world, that you have expanded, and you need to stop keeping yourself small. Again, this is always, sorry, I do rambly readings, and I don't know if anybody's going to still be with me by now, and I hope this is helpful to someone, but it does feel, as I say, it's not tough love, it's just a gentle nudge to say, can it stop, please stop procrastinating now and just get on with it. Well, what's the advice here? It's two. There is you need to recognize in yourself. You have to recognize your own mastery in yourself, and then other people will come to you. We also have the Wheel of Fortune, that this will all start to move when you start to put yourself out there. He's saying, look, I can build this. I've got the potential to make these pentacles gold, and these people are listening to him. So if you're thinking about pitching for something, if you're thinking about talking to somebody about a job, if you're thinking about just just kind of, I mean, romantically, if you're thinking about reaching out to someone, probably not favourable to do it for someone who's a past person, but if there's someone on your radar and you're thinking about it, there is a reciprocity here. This card can also say, be careful not to get shortchanged, because he's kind of the one who's doing it all, and they're just standing there kind of ordering him about, or kind of watching him do it all. But again, that has its value, and so I'm being reminded that you have a value in this world, and you need to be very clear about that in whatever situation that you are in whatever this relates to, be it financial, be it sort of career wise, be it romantically, that it is asking, the cards are asking you to really be very clear about your value and to understand what you bring to the table. But there is a promise here that when you do reach out, when you do start to activate this process, that there is a big opportunity coming towards you to change your fortunes. So is there anything else? Because I feel like there's just one more thing that I need to say. Yeah, and you know what, when you look at him, I think he would be quite a lot smaller than them if he wasn't standing on a bench. I've never seen this before, and I've never read this before. But so yeah, I think this is about you kind of, again, with this Page of Cups, feeling a bit too small. So it's kind of saying to you, you need to just get your elbows out a bit here, Capricorn, and start bigging yourself up a little bit. Anything else? Another three. Yeah, they're just going to start repeating now. So that we finally get a wand out on the table. So we get the Three of Wands now. Yeah, but again, I'm being told to, sort of link these two, because this is again about planning the route. He's standing here and he's kind of got a pretty good vision of where he wants to go, but he's just, he's waiting for a ship to come and get him. But he knows what he wants to do, so this is really about you getting really clear on what is next for you and acting upon it, being much more out there about who you are, and much more unashamed. If you felt slightly ashamed of, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not this, I'm not that, that needs to just be swept into the background. You can never eliminate that stuff. We all suffer from it, but sometimes you just need to plant on that face and just say, I am this and I am brilliant. So, so Capricorn, that is your reading for sort of mid-January-ish, and I hope it's helpful. Hope it's not too rambly for you, and that you got something out of it. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.